The kind of revolution that the world needs is a Christian revolution.
If you want a miracle, you've got to expect it to happen.
You are the recipients of God's grace and God's blessings, and you rejoice in that reality.
Welcome to Life Today Live. Great to have you here in this in-between period between Christmas and New Year's. By the way, there won't be a program on New Year's Day next Monday. There will not be a Life Today Live. We start up with new guests on the 2nd. But right now we are revisiting number 2, the second most viewed interview of the year across the different platforms, which Rumble is growing, which is nice. Still not big, but most people watch on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Light Source, which is Salem Web. But still trying to grow the audience, and the podcasting is expanding as well. So if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can do that as well. You don't get the video, you don't get the pictures, but I get it. I do a lot of podcasting myself. Now, number 2 is a couple of guests. Shonda Pierce, who just did our Christmas banquet this year, back in December, always hilarious, and John Schneider. And we're talking about a project they had out. It was a Fathom event back in February of 2023 called The Confession. It's a musical. And I need to give you a little bit of an update on this because if you go to the website for the musical, it's literally confessionmusicalmovie.com, you'll see now that you can stream it. So I know how hard these Fathom events can be for people. Some of you don't even know about it, or you didn't know about it until afterwards. But if you go here and you hit on the stream now, you will be taken to Up, Faith, and Family, which is a network and a place where you can stream. You can get a 14-day free trial if you just want to watch the Confession musical, and then check out what else they've got on. So these are good. These are good to support. Not just to catch the thing that you want to see, but to support the industry in general. And, you know, I don't know how much theirs is, probably $10-15 a month. You get some good content and you build better content. So cancel your Disney Plus, right? I know it might be a little painful, might be a little harder, or just do both of them, whatever you got to do. Okay, here's the thing. This interview took place on February 13th, 2023. 8 days later, John Schneider's wife passed away. A little bit unexpectedly. She had been battling cancer for a while, and so the diagnosis was there. And that makes this interview a little bit difficult because you'll see at the end, I ask him about the future for him, and he talks about Alicia. And so there are a couple things I want to point out before we talk about the musical, and they're on his website. He's got a movie to die for. He's still doing stuff. This is at johnschneiderstudios.com. And if you go up to the official store and click on that, you can scroll down, and there is this album right here called We're Still Us. And this is a tribute he did over the last year for his wife. And so I wanted to point out those things. He's still doing a lot of great creative things, and broke my heart to hear that news just right after this interview. But the Confession, if you haven't seen that, and I know most of you haven't, what a great time to sit down and try that out over the holidays, and to hear a little bit more about it. Well, I've shined a little bit later, but I was honored to welcome a very nice and gracious and talented man, John Schneider, to Life Today Live.
Wonderful to be here. I'm delighted to be talking about this kind of hybrid project that I was involved with.
Yeah, now
and excited.
Explain exactly what this is, because it is. Let's see, it's based on the New York Times best-selling book series, "The Heritage of Lancaster County" by Beverly Lewis, which was then adapted into a stage production. And now you're bringing it to the screen?
It's a hybrid because it's a musical, but it was also filmed. So it was already a tried and true musical in the really in the Amish world.
Okay.
The book that it was adapted from, I think, sold something like 20 million copies.
Wow.
So it has an amazing built-in audience, but I started back before Dukes. I started in musical theater, so I am a musical theater brat.
Okay, long time. I'm not Amish either. In case
I'm not either. I'm not either. I'm closer now than I was before. I certainly am more understanding of the culture than I ever was before.
But this must be the kind of project you love.
It is, because I've done a lot of theater, I've done a lot of films, done a lot of television, I've done a lot of singing, but I've not really done all of it, I've not really done all of it together. There has not really been an opportunity where you get to film a musical. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a great idea, and the way that they are presenting it, I believe it's the 20th of February, in theaters, you'll actually have, because of the way they filmed it, you'll actually have the feeling that you are in the theater watching this musical. There's coverage and close-ups and all that kind of stuff too, to kind of get a little bit more intimate. Mm-hmm. But it's a great idea, and I think it could quite possibly catch on with other productions as well. So I'm very excited about it. I thought the show was great. The music is wonderful. And I get to play kind of the Snidely Whiplash bad guy. Short of twirling my mustache, I got to play that kind of a guy.
Oh well.
I wore an ascot. I got to wear an ascot. And kind of very Thurston Howell III.
So that's the bad guy uniform. I mean, that you must be a great actor to be able to play a bad person.
Maybe I'm a great actor to be able to play a good person. But thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to play the bad guy. Bad guys have a tendency to be more obviously three-dimensional.
Sure.
Because bad guys at some point have to pretend to be the good guy. But good guys very seldom get the opportunity to pretend that they're the bad guy. So it was a lot of fun.
So without spoiling any of the plot, does the bad guy have any sort of redemptive moment in this film?
No.
Okay.
No, not a bit. I don't see the error of my way. None of that. No.
Well,
so,
it's fun at least.
Which is interesting, because usually they do, but no, there's not an ounce of humanity in this guy. So,
well, I'm actually more interested now.
Yeah.
How did
it was a lot of fun.
How did you get involved in this?
I think the producers of it had seen me do maybe Grand Hotel years ago, on Broadway. Or maybe Chicago. I don't know. They saw me do something, and they knew that that was my history. So they got in touch with me, and Shonda Pierce, who's she's just wonderful. She's a hysterical woman. Her comedy act is fantastic. But her acting chops are phenomenal, and her voice is beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I think they thought, well, we've got this award-winning comedienne. And if that's what they called them when I was a kid, comedian. Why don't we put her together with this other guy who is also known as being a Southern person, even though I'm from Mount Kisco, New York. Let's put them together on the. I think they cast the poster first.
Okay.
Oh, let's put Shonda and John up there.
Yeah.
And then let's. But they knew we could do it, and they knew we would have fun. And we did. We had a ball, and the other folks who were in the cast had been part of the show. Many of them had already been part of an existing musical.
Okay.
So they had done it before.
Yeah.
So they were ready to go, and it all came together. I don't think we worked more than 2 weeks from start to finish on it.
Wow.
And then after we'd rehearsed it and we'd done a dress rehearsal, we brought the camera crew came in. Then it became kind of my other medium, and I had a ball with that. So I haven't, other than maybe doing a music video. There's a bunch of those out there too, so check those out, folks. Other than doing that, there really has not been an opportunity in show business to do something like this. Very much like the MGM musicals from way back when.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I have only seen snippets of it. I've not seen the whole thing yet. I'm very much looking forward to watching it in a theater with a bunch of other folks.
Yeah, good. Shonda is a longtime friend of ours. Has done our Christmas.
She is
banquets.
so wonderful.
Yeah, she's really great. And the funny thing is, you hear her stand up, and she is hilarious.
Oh.
And I didn't know for the longest time that she could sing. Then she sang at one of our Christmas banquets, and we're like, wow, she's actually very good.
Like an angel.
Yeah.
Truly like an angel.
So,
and she is, my mother, God rest her soul, would call Shonda slap your knee funny.
yes.
And she is. And I had not, just before we started rehearsal, she did a show at the theater where we were working. And I watched her show, and I found myself slapping, I hadn't slapped my knee, and I don't know why laughing makes you want to slap your knee, but it does.
That's hilarious.
And she certainly does. She certainly does. So it was an honor and a privilege to work with her.
My only complaint about Shonda is when I try to interview, she wants to talk about Spanx and menopause.
Well, that's what she's going through, I guess.
So what do you do? Okay.
I don't know.
So you've had.
Shonda, that's your problem. Don't share it with us.
That's my wife laughs at me because I just yeah. So you've had a long, very successful career. I mean, you've had just a fabulous run, and you're still getting to do things that you love. What do you want to accomplish in your career? From here going forward.
Wow. Well, my lovely bride and I, who I call my Smile, we have made 13 or 14 films since we met 8 years ago, and I think 10 albums.
Wow.
So our dream, before we met, our dream was to be able to make movies and music and content with our friends, our way, and distribute it ourselves. So we've actually been doing that. I am now at the ripe young age of 62, finally doing what I thought I was going to be doing when I was 10 years old. And loving every minute of it. Case in point, we just had a movie come out in October on our streaming service at our store. No outside distribution. It's all us. So I know when we sell a DVD, because a distributor will never tell you they sold any. Mm-hmm. So we have a company called, it's John Schneider Studios, but we have a new movie called To Die For. That is Newsmax called it the single most patriotic film of 2022. So we never could have made a film like that within the confines and structure, I use the term loosely, of the Hollywood machine. Mm-hmm. They never would have done it. They never would distribute it. Nothing. So that's what I want to continue doing, that with my bride, with my Smile. And we will. So we've made a couple of what we call Southern horsepower movies. One was a tribute to Smokey and the Bandit called Stand On It. And the sequel to that was Poker Run. We made a movie called Christmas Cars, like driving. And now that I've done this, the confession with these wonderful folks, I'm thinking about maybe doing finding a Southern horsepower musical. I don't know if that exists. If it doesn't, then I'll write it.
Nice.
And doing that from our barn here.
Nice.
So I just want to continue enjoying, not the fruits of the labor, but the ability to continue to labor in the avenue that I love so much, completely equally yoked with a lovely woman who feels exactly the same way. We are two people that our friends have to say, you need to stop. You need to stop. You need to go on a vacation. You need to give me your phone and get out of here. So we're going to do a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're going to do what you love and want to do, I mean, that's better than a vacation, really, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, kind of a staycation. You can't tell that to our friends, though. They just want us. They just want us to leave.
What about this space? Some of it faith, community, or just kind of traditional values. What kind of values do you try to instill into what you do, if any?
Well, I write the movies that we make, and in the bad guy, unlike what we talked about, the bad guy has to get his comeuppance, right? Mm-hmm. The good must win out over evil. People must be integrous, or if you have to have bad. You have to have it has to be this.
Sure.
It can't be just a one-sided story. So it has to be well fleshed out, and there has to be a moral compass to it. There has to be responsibility. There has to be patriotism. And if there's a lack of patriotism, then there has to be something fighting against that in our world. And it has to be fun. I believe that when you go to a movie or you watch a movie, that it should be visceral. You should participate in what's going on. It should be knee-slapping funny and tissue-grabbing sad. Nothing in between, or not live in between. So that's what we do, and that's what we want to continue to do. Now, I have done some films in the past that are dark in nature. I was going through a particularly dark time in my life, and they're wonderful, but they're more like The French Connection, or they're more like crime drama. So if you're squeamish about language, stay away from those. But if you love your flag, and you think you live in the tangible evidence of God's breath in the form of a country, which is what I believe our country is, then watch To Die For. Mm-hmm. If you want to see the importance of love, then go see The Confession, because it is, I think, the underlying message in that is that the most important thing we have is love. So check that out. You will slap your knee. You may want to slap Shonda's knee, but
it's good.
It's been a great run, and in many regards, I feel like I've just gotten started. Truly,
good.
Good. Even though I think we just had our 44th anniversary of the premiere of Dukes of Hazzard. Amazing.
Yeah, I grew up on that. I was going to resist making any jokes, but
Go ahead.
Make
a joke.
Yeehaw! Let's see. Making your way the best you know how. Is that your life these days?
Close enough. The only way they know how. The only way they know how. That was Waylon Jennings' platinum shipping 45. So that was a great show, and continues to keep its fan base.
Yeah.
And it seems like many of the people who were children watching Dukes of Hazzard have now passed that on to their children. Especially in the southern world. Alicia and I did some dirt track racing last year. And there are 4-year-olds who are now huge fans of Dukes of Hazzard because their parents and grandparents were 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
kind of like the Andy Griffith Show. It's wonderful to be part of something that has this much longevity. I mean, it's amazing. Nobody's talking about Hill Street Blues or ER or even Mork and Mindy or any of those shows.
Never heard of them.
No, never heard of them, right?
John Schneider, I appreciate your time, and look forward to The Confession, the musical, as well as
Thank you very much.
and the other. Anything else that you do, you keep on doing what you were put on this earth to do, and we'll keep supporting you.
You bet. I believe that God is up to something, and we are part of it, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. We don't invite God into our circumstance. He has already designed and invited us into his. So figure out what your part is in it and get out there and do it. All right?
Preach it. Man, listen to that.
Preach it.
You got a little preacher in you.
Well, after a while, you have to, right?
That's awesome. Again, I appreciate your time, and look forward to the film. Encourage everybody to go to the website at confessionmusicalmovie.com. February 20th is the release date in the theaters. And then do you know where it'll be after that? Have you all ironed that out yet?
I think that depends upon the success of it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be amazingly successful, and then it's Fathom Events, I believe. Yeah. So it should be out for some time to come. But just in case, go see it on the 20th. Go see it on the whoops, I hit my phone. Go see it on the 20th. That way you can ensure that it'll be around on the 21st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Well, and going and seeing it in the theaters is how we, the people, support people like you. So I would encourage everybody to do that as well. Thank you.
Oh,
again.
yeah. Yep. You're so welcome. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. God bless everybody who's watching and listening. Take care.
Well, would you like to see the trailer? Let's watch that, and then we'll be right back to talk to Shonda Pierce.
Welcome to Hickory Hollow. We Amish lead a simple life, and we like it that way.
Our songs speak of love and of truth.
So then I'm adopted.
I do have my Catherine somewhere out there.
We'll find her.
I'm interested in hiring someone from your agency to play a young Amish girl.
Excuse me.
The Amish girl?
In the flesh.
Fair enough.
My whole world has changed. Everything I thought to be true isn't.
Hello, Mother.
But aren't we all looking for forgiveness we don't deserve?
It's Catherine Mayfield, sir.
Good job.
That Fathom event is 1 week from today, Monday, February 20th. So visit confessionmusicalmovie.com and you can plan to be there. And now, the other star of that film, Shonda Pierce. Shonda, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm so glad I got to go after John Schneider because, boy, do I had some things to say.
So
he was a delight. He was a delight, but it was so weird to watch. You know, we all look at me fixing my hair in front of the
I was
hole.
trying to kind of cover for that, but go ahead.
It was so wild to have, you know, your favorite Bo Duke, and he was so mean. He's a good actor because he was just so mean and snobby. But I enjoyed it. It was the hardest work I've ever done, but I enjoyed it. I really did.
So I tried to avoid making Dukes of Hazzard jokes throughout our conversation just now, but he pulled one out of me. Did you give him Dukes of Hazzard joke stuff like the whole time?
Not all the time, you know. We did find a horn blowing on our phone that sounded like the general. And every time we forgot a line, we were just like, whatever that horn is.
All right.
But he was great. You know, the funniest thing about John and I, our mothers were in the same nursing home.
Oh.
And that's where we became better friends than even just traveling on the road. Now we've worked together a few times, but that was our great friendship and tenderness that our mothers just loved each other. You know what I mean? Just talk. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
But it was good. It was such a labor of love, but it was hard work. These kids, 8 days to put this thing together. And the directors were all incredible and all good. But I think it's funny because it's going to be very, very obvious that I did not know how to dance and that I have true Nazarene roots because I was terrible.
I guess musical, a lot of them, you do have the dancing parts, but the music had to come natural for you.
A little bit, although I had to, channel my Sandy Petty voice a little bit. That people aren't normally used to seeing me do. And the worst thing is, they just wanted you to look, and they even said, we need a frumpy housekeeper. And I'm like, oh, well, so the leading roles I get, frumpy,
Frumpy, yeah.
And I looked just like my mother. There are days you just go, oh, I know I'm I had ways about like her. But when I saw it on the screen, I was like, I look just like her. But she was a sweet woman, but she's frumpy.
Yeah, well, typecast as you will. So it's interesting that you guys, I didn't know you guys knew each other prior to this project.
Yeah.
So did you guys plan this? I mean, were y'all like, hey, this thing's coming up, we should do it together?
I think it's like when you're on the fence to take a role, and I've done that, and then you find out who the other cast members are. You're like, oh, okay, I know them. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we both did. We were like, yeah, that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
It was this whole Blue Gate musical world. It's just a whole a group of a conglomeration that does these musicals constantly, and they're fabulous. And some of these actors that were in this with John and I have done this particular show several times, in musical theaters all across the country. And So this, this was stepping into somebody else's world, and which was different. And for me, it was doing someone else's words and lines instead of the ones I write for myself.
Yeah.
So that was different. But the sweet thing is, I'm telling you, the storyline is amazing. There is something in this for everybody. And for me particularly, I had just gone through some difficult times with one of my kids, and then I lost my husband, and so I understand what death is like. So there were so many emotions in this thing that I really like. I remember the director going, "Oh man, that was so good. We caught that tear. It was coming down." I'm like, I was really crying. I could teach you.
That's interesting. Now,
It was good.
Were you at all familiar with the Beverly Lewis books prior to this?
No, I've seen them on a shelf. I visited Shipshawana before. It's a great little tourist town, by the way. Wonderful shopping, and so I'd visited, the bookstores and seen her stuff. But yeah, I was not familiar with her. Now I want to go read a whole bunch of more books. I did go and buy the book about this. This was just a small, a small screenplay portion of the story, and it was a lot. And the staging and all of it was wonderful. And I love that Fathom is doing this. I believe it was after COVID that they started showing operas and live plays and and some documentary thing. Well, they've shown several documentaries for me, but it's a great organization that to really get more of the arts out there besides what comes out of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And this was top notch. I mean, this was a wonderful event, and I think people are going to love it. They might be a little surprised how Shonda Pierce, acts, but it was totally. People know I was a theater arts major before I ever became a comedian. I was a theater arts major, did a lot of plays and musical theater in college, but that was a long time.
Well, but and you've done some other acting as well. I think for people that know you strictly doing comedy, it's just going to show them another side of you that's there.
Well, it's going to show a lot of sides. And just remember, Randy, TV adds 10 pounds.
Okay.
So TV and the stage adds about 25.
Okay.
But that's how I felt after watching it. But it was good. It was hard work, but it was really, really great. I'm just proud of what I've finally accomplished and pulled off. That I've done a bunch of Hallmark movies. I've been in a lot of movie features. Movies are easier because they stop and start. You do a scene, you turn cameras around. If you don't like it, you can do it again. But this, when the curtain rises and a live audience is there, you don't stop. You just keep plowing through. I'm surprised they haven't showed the blooper reel yet, because I gave them some good ones.
Yeah. Well, the phrase "the show must go on" doesn't come from television or film; it comes from theater. So
absolutely, and it's so true. Yeah.
Did you convert to Amishism?
Are you kidding? I'm not even a good Nazarene. How in the world am I going to be a good Amish person? My favorite thing, of course, I did a concert before we started filming, and so the audience was there, and which, me, I tease every denomination there is, everything's equal. But I do crack up, but the Amish and the Mennonites broke up because of buttons and zippers.
Oh.
That's how they split. I'm like, buttons and zippers have been getting a lot of churches in trouble lately.
When you would think buttons and zippers would hold you together.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. But it's true. I mean, this is I can't wait till heaven. I can't wait till Jesus starts cracking up at us going, what? Y'all just divide stuff up so much.
Yeah, right.
Over the craziest reasons.
So I have a serious question for you, because I know you well enough. And you mentioned some of the difficulties that you faced in your life, because life is not perfect and easy just because you're a Christian. Did you ever think you would be where you're at right now, getting to do the things you're getting to do?
No, I made a little bucket list a long time ago when I first started doing this, and what's so funny, my pastor and I even talked about this years and years ago, and I grew up in such a small view of the world that my bucket list was small, and God has blessed me to get to see all those things happen. And so I wake up every day truly believing, I don't know how he's going to top this day. You know what I mean? And I've been through terrible things. And yet I was just listening to a song that's in my new tour show right now. And it's called Mercy. And it says, we have a tendency to look at what we've come through and accomplished, or what we've been saved from, well, our repentance and our redemption. We have a tendency to look at that and go, look what we've accomplished and what the Lord's done. But this song reminds us none of it would happen without the blood of Jesus. Nothing good would happen without the blood of Christ. And so anything great that you've done or anything horrible that you've been through, none of it matters without the blood of Christ. That kind of keeps everything in perspective, even the moments you think you're really doing something. Yeah.
Yes, it does. But at the same time, I am excited for you in that all of the things that God put in you are getting to come out, and you weren't crushed by the circumstances of life.
Yeah, I've been down, but not out. You know what I mean? I've been broken, but not into pieces that the God of the universe couldn't put back together. I started a new bucket list. One's a man, right at the top. And it's not because I'm afraid of dying alone. I just need somebody to help me cut the grass.
That's good. Oh, you know what? I mean, you're doing so many things that you thought would never happen. That one may be around the corner pretty quick.
I don't know about that, Randy. You know, and your dad and mom are like my parents. You know, my spiritual family, and you're like a brother. I'm like, okay, but you know, I'm fine coming to Christmas without a date. I'm just fine.
Well,
I had one for 31 years, and he was wonderful. So, you know, my neighbor says if the Lord can part the Red Sea, he can put a man on your porch. That's why I live out in the middle of nowhere. It's going to have to be God for him to find my house.
Well, you know, you keep doing these movies and stuff, you might have a long line. It might not be the line you want, but it could be.
Well, you know, it's hard at my age and in my place in life. I want a man that loves Jesus more than he loves me. And sadly, that's not always easy to find.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be on the road soon, so maybe the search continues. I want to show people your website. This is Shonda.org, and you can go there and see where, I think I was looking at this earlier, you're hitting the road, aren't you?
Oh, hard and heavy. Yeah. I'm going to Israel, actually day after tomorrow, for about 10 days. And then 2 days after I get back, I hit the West Coast, and I am on the bus for 25 days. Ugh.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, but there might be a couple of men I put in the bay as I find them. I have to bring him to your dad first, you know, for him to check them out. Would that be funny if I got arrested for a bunch of men stuck in the book?
You know, you got to be careful. You're going to start rumors about yourself that you don't want. So.
Oh, I hope so. I've been trying to get out of this job for years.
My Lord. All right. Well, Shonda, great to talk to you as always.
Good to see you, my friend.
Truly excited about the opportunities. And if you're watching right now, you got to tee it up. Go see the musical, the Confession musical on the big screen, February 20th, Fathom event. Check the website for confessionmusicalmovie.com. If I said that right. There it is on the screen.
Right.
You can find out if you can go see it in your town. If not, it'll be available down the road, but we really need to get in the theaters like we were talking about. Yeah. And then if you're on the west coast of the U.S., go see Shonda when she's in your town. She's hilarious. Yes. She will make you laugh. She will make you uncomfortable at times. But that's okay because it's funny. So.
That is life. That's right. That is life.
Yes, it is. That is. All right. Anything I missed before I let you go?
It's wonderful. You're great.
Oh, well, it's great to see you. And I truly, I'm glad to see you. And when I went to, I'll show people real quick. When I went to the website for the musical, here it is again. I was like, okay, wow, there's this really big star, someone that I've known for a long time and very talented. And then there's who's this John Schneider guy?
That is so good. I thought you were going to go, and who's this little sister of mine? What's she doing?
No. Oh, all good and fun. All right. Well, Shonda,
Thank
again.
you.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you.
You
Talk
too.
to you later.
Absolutely.
Well, I had a wonderful time talking with both of these talented and really nice people, you know. And so if you haven't checked out the movie, The Confession, check out confessionmusicalmovie.com. You can go stream it now. You don't have to wait. It was in the future back then, but it's in our past now. That's how this whole time continuum works. Tomorrow, number one. Who is it? What will it be? If you've been paying much attention, you probably won't be surprised. And it's always the case with this particular guest tomorrow. But I mean, like, way out there, number one. So it'll be a good one to go back and watch again. I think you'll enjoy it. So last program of the year, tomorrow at noon. Look forward to seeing you here on Life Today Live. Thanks for being with us. See you again next time. Check out The Confession.
An abundant brings of grace.